All right, there we go. Hello. Good morning. This is video 956. I'm joined today by my oldest son. Uh haven't made a video in a couple weeks, 2 weeks actually. Just wanted to just make a little checkup. Had some experiences yesterday that I wanted to just talk about. In short, um, I don't know if I could really put it into a title. Uh, Maybe just mm, trying to figure out how to put this in a transgender sort of way. Um, Maybe social interaction. But anyway, what happened to me was I went to the grocery store. Real exciting, I know. Um, to get some supplies for a party that I was hosting, painting party, and it was kind of the last minute, things that you get the last minute for it was specifically like a big bag of ice and some soda and whatnot. And you know, I didn't do anything special. I think as far as my appearance goes, what I normally wear, my style is very bland, to say the least. Um, I prefer to wear monochromatic. Maybe I'll wear a blue skirt and a teal colored top. I don't go out of my way. I don't wear a lot of makeup, if any, and I don't wear jewelry or anything. Um, anyway, so just roll out of bed, brush my hair real quick, and go to the grocery store. And you know, maybe my experience is going to be tainted because um, I went to the grocery store and the people in the grocery store are there to help you out. So maybe my thinking here might be a little askew. But hey, we'll just run with it and see where it takes us. So um, I walk in and there's the greeter, you know, who said, welcome to the store or whatnot. But he said, welcome to the store, ma'am. Okay, I got ma'amed on my way in. And I nodded and I said, well, it's good morning to you, sir. Um, and then as I was walking, uh, you know, up and down the various aisles getting what I needed, um, there were people. And I got ma'amed again. I don't remember the context of what it was, but by a person. Excuse me, ma'am, excuse me, miss, whatever. Pardon me. Um, and then when I went to the checkout, I got ma'amed again. And one of the things that I bought was the big bag of ice, a 10-pound bag of ice, or maybe 15 pounds. But someone who was by the ice machine saw that I was having difficulty getting the bag out. I mean, they were, like brick layered, and, I just had to move one or two bags to release a bag to get it out. And the guy went out of his way to say, "Oh, let me get that for you. I can do that for you, ma'am." And I said, "Thank you." And I did get it, but I thanked him for his time. And I think on my way out, the same person said, "Hey, would you like a bag so that doesn't leak all over your car or whatever, ma'am?" And so I guess it just kind of like, just kind of like solidifies, I guess, for me, um, the idea that number one, I did the right thing, okay? When I transitioned, I did the right thing. It's paid off dividends for me, as far as socially acceptance and everything. But, as I encountered these different men. They were all men, by the way, of different ages. Um, Not all of them were the employees of the store. Okay, who you would expect to be. Can I help you? Blah blah blah. But I kind of wondered to myself as I was leaving, and I got the last ma'am of the trip. You know, how would these men? Let's say I had 6 instances while I was in the store. Okay, how many of them vote Republican? How many of them vote Democrat? How many of them vote? Um, of the ones that would vote Republican and maybe Democrat too, but you know, one political party is anti-transgender right now as a whole. Um, how many of those men, if they had known or cared that I was transgender, would they have treated me any different? Now obviously I think if you're being employed by the store, you're told to be nice, customer service, that kind of a thing. But let's take it out of that, you know, walking down the street, not a place of work. Hello, ma'am. Can I help you, ma'am? That's a little shaky, but you know what I mean. Common courtesy. How many of them, if they had voted Republican or they consider themselves Republican or they're against transgender rights, you know, would they it's one thing to talk on Facebook or social media or to your friends, the fellas, can you believe them transgender people? What fucking, you know what I mean? Like to bad mouth. But when you're actually encountering a person one on one or in a group situation, in other words, when the rubber meets the road, how are they going to act? And it just makes me wonder a little bit about the future, kind of going forward. Maybe it would be an interesting experiment to have, like, and I'll taint this a little bit by just talking about transgender women, but it would kind of be interesting to have transgender women, and then you'd have to have cis women as like the control for the experiment, but to have different degrees of stereotypical feminine, masculine, and what I'm going to call passability, but I'm not sure that's really the right, but how would the men, and possibly women too, how would they treat? I remember back in with some point in the 80s, because I remember it because I was, you know, and I was transgender youth, questioning who I was and feeling extremely shameful. But it was a, a show that like investigative reporters, and it was something about the degree of sexual, at the time, sexual. It really was gender. How people were treated, and um, it was the same person. It was a guy who went to a car dealership on a Saturday and as a male, and um, took a car for a test drive. And then the following week, same person dressed up as a woman, same good car dealership, same car. I don't think they got the same salesperson. Maybe they. I don't remember the specifics that to that degree. But then they compared how they were treated, what was said about the car to sell it. You know, was there did the salesperson, one of the things that they talked about was how for the woman it was convenience and the assumption of a family. And if you take your kids, they'll feel comfortable and they'll be safe. But for the male selling was, how fast it goes and how much power it has, and engine, and you know what I mean. So it was like the sales technique for the same individual, although one presenting male, one presenting female, how they were treated differently. So, like I said, as I was leaving the store yesterday and I was walking back to my car, I was like, I wonder how I would have been treated if I was just starting out my transition, where I still had my beard. No matter what I did with my beard, within 2 or 3 hours, it, had stubble, and, you know, things hadn't quite shifted yet. And of course, obviously, I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't have confidence, in what I was doing. But I was just curious how I would have been treated by these folks, um, you know, if they had known that I was transgender, or maybe they knew and they didn't care. I mean, we can hope, but I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting thought as I went back to my car, and I was like, yeah, I got ma'amed, which makes you feel good. Um, very affirming. Uh, but again, I wonder about, you know, if I wore a transgender flag, um, if as I did my grocery shopping on my like a transgender T-shirt with a flag on it, if that would have made any difference. I don't know. Be an interesting experiment. Um, I think that's why we need diversity and inclusion and diversity at training at workplaces, so that people are kind of told, we expect you to treat a transgender person with dignity and respect as you would anyone else. We expect, you know, and especially in light of where we're headed, I think it's something like 20% of Gen Z are self-identify as LGBTQ. I mean, any company to turn off 20% of your potential customers. Um, it's not, you know what I mean? And I don't know, but that's just kind of my experience. Before I wrap up today, things are going pretty okay. I started a new med um, mm, 2 weeks ago. I can't think of the name of it. Sorry. Um, and my brain's trying to figure it out now. What was it? What was it? Was there a Clyde, a clean? Um, but it's a bipolar medicine, and that seems to really have kind of helped me out. I don't bottom out like I used to. Um, really, that's just about it. I'm just kind of marking time. Back to transgender stuff. I am on target to have top surgery, breast implants, in February. Or no, yeah, it is February of 2024. So about 6, 7 months away, and that's just how far out they're booked. Must be a popular surgery. Couldn't afford it anyway. I'm saving up for it. It's gonna run about $6,000, which insurance doesn't cover. So I'm kind of counting my pennies and watching my lattes, I suppose. So I need 6 months to build up the funds for it. But really, that's just about it. Just you know, we're in the dwindling days of summer. I'm watching a large number of kids that are in elementary and middle school age. And they must know this is the last weekend of summer because they were out at like 9 o'clock this morning riding their bikes and playing. It's been fun to have younger children, um, you know. drawing on the sidewalk and riding their bikes, and they're excited. They're living. It's neat. It's neat. I used to think that I wanted to move somewhere and be like off in the woods, but now I'm more inclined to live in a neighborhood because I like to have that interaction with people. Halloween and Christmas, and I wouldn't get that if I lived by myself in the woods. All right, till next time. Wish you the best of luck as you become and continue to be your authentic self. All right, till next time. Bye.